Ready for takeoff.
He's Metz. He's Tass. It's the Metzger Tassoul Show. Again. And Mr. Mike Metzger, unmuted this time.
So we were muted. So you missed the good news. So everybody, tune in, tag your friends, because I'll give you the good news. The good news is Shane Tassoul is not going to be joining us today.
He's not even here to defend himself.
If he was, I wouldn't have said that.
Yes, Mr. Convento, we just
that was by
unmuted
design. No, he's on vacation. Tassoul's on vacation. So I asked Mr. Perry if he'd want to sit in. And look, I won't take up a lot of your time or Mr. Perry's time, but just diving in, the topic today is: are you struggling to get new students? Now, struggling to get new students is relative to what you're normally accustomed to getting, right? We have some people. I just talked to someone this morning. If they get 30 new students a month on average, and now they're getting 18. Well, that's a struggle comparatively to where they're at. However, there's a couple of things I want to throw out there for a disclaimer here.
And I'm going to be sharing this to a couple more groups too, as we've got a few out here. But yes, share the disclaimer.
Thank you, Perry.
You're welcome. Sorry.
The disclaimer is if you're a school that's signing up single digits, okay, less than 10 new students a month, are you struggling now, or have you been struggling for a long time? Because if you're a school that's been enrolling in the single digits, the good news for you is there's just certain things that we have to do to get to the double digits, right? So there's two kinds of audiences here. Schools that have normally been signing up a higher number of students and you've seen a decline, even if normally you sign up 9 students a month on average and now you're at 5. And you're doing everything the same. Everything that you've been doing. I will be honest, based on the industry, and we have locations. I mean, how many locations do we have that we work with? Probably 250. 250.
That's either one-on-one, yeah. Not including people that are in Edge or any.
Right. Just the people that we deal with on a weekly basis, one-on-one. 250 locations. And as a whole, not everybody, but there's a bigger majority of people that are struggling today, or it's a little harder today to get new students than it was, let's say, a year ago. But that's okay. The first thing is we don't panic, right? But we have to own it. And what I mean by own it is we can't change the environment. We can't change the economy. You're not going to change the administration. You're not going to change inflation. Can't do that. But you can change how you work and what you do to get new students. And if you understand that, the good news is, and this is what I said during COVID, for those of you who got through COVID, during COVID, we had to really up our customer service to try to keep students when we weren't able to have them in the building, right? You had to have rapport. You had to be we were on the phones with them. We were doing Zooms. We were doing everything, full class schedule, Zooms, trying to do something to keep the students active a little bit or give them a little bit of a break during that time. But those habits carry over, right? So if you start making some changes right now to get new students or to get more new students or to get back to where you were, then when the economy or whatever it is that's affecting enrollments right now, you're going to do even better. It's going to be exponential, right? So the first thing that I'd like to ask everybody, right? Because this is a very important, Tassoul looks different these days.
Yeah.
He looks better, doesn't he? Tassoul looks a lot better.
Hair is thinning a little bit.
By the way, if you're just joining us, Tassoul's on vacation. So I have Mr. Michael Perry just sitting in. So here's what I'd like to do, and this is good for everybody. In the chat, tell me what you have done proactively, meaning don't say, well, I called my leads today. You called your leads because they got in touch with you at some point, or you did something proactively a few weeks ago to get those leads. Tell me what you did last week proactively to get new students. Can you put it in the chat box? Let's see what you guys are doing. Because this is the first thing. You got to get out of a reactive mindset, right? Sometimes we think we're working so hard just because we're reacting. For example, if you have ads running, right? If you have a GoPro running ads or whoever's running ads for you, and you're getting leads and you're following up with the leads, that's reactive. That's reactive. But what did you do last week or even yesterday to get a new enrollment? Let's see.
Mr. Curry said, bring a buddy day.
Thank you, Perry.
In case.
It's like I have Ed McMahon sitting next to me.
Buddy day. I was talking to somebody, because you mentioned that, I was talking to somebody the other day that said, hey, we need some help. We're down students, and asked, where were you averaging your new students? And they said, we're about 5. Sometimes we have, but then January they had 15 new members. Last month they had 5 new members. I think let me rephrase that. December was 15, January is 5, and then they had 4 this month so far. I say, well, how are you getting those new students? All of them from online, all of them from a marketing company. I was like, you just can't depend on all of that. Chris talks about it all the time. You have to put multiple lines in the water to get new students. So here we get some more coming in. Mr. Convento hired a recruiter, taught self-defense in an elementary school, taught it in an elementary school, doing a board break buddy day on Saturday. Awesome. 2 weeks I did after school program, and that did get 13 new students.
Mr. Tassoul got 13 new students. So here's the deal. These are great, right? These are things that you should consistently do. Where you get burnt out is when you don't have a schedule and you react. And by the way, reacting is, my gosh, we've had 2 months of not a lot of students. I need to go to an elementary school and teach a class, or I need to do a buddy day, or no. You need to lay out a schedule for the entire year and have on there a consistency. When are you doing buddy days? Number one. Most of you are going to sit here and say buddy days don't work for me. And it's because when it doesn't work, it's most likely because of the way you present it. You can't just make an announcement to your students, hey guys, it's buddy day next week, bring a friend with you. Got to give them a reason to bring a buddy, right? Guys, for example, the first Wednesday of every month is buddy day. The first Wednesday and Thursday. I'm making this up. Get a culture going to where your students know the first Wednesday and Thursday of every month, or the last Wednesday and Thursday, or whatever you want to do of every month, is where you're going to bring a friend. But in those classes, those 1 day a month classes, you're going to do challenges with the student and the buddy that they bring. It is not required to bring a buddy, but this is where we're going to challenge a buddy. So if you know anybody that you want to see, go through the challenge, or that you think may benefit from the values or benefits of martial arts, guys, see me after class, grab a pass. The other thing that you don't want to do is leave a stack of cards or passes on a counter somewhere and ask them to pick them up or take them when they leave, because you'll find them in your parking lot. You'll find them on the ground, right? Never give more than like 3 passes to each student. Say, look, I'll only give you 3. Do you have 3 people you know that you want to bring? Okay, here's 3. If you want more, after you give those 3 out, come see me. So my point is I don't want to go into a seminar format of buddy days, but consistency. Number 2, You should schedule out the whole year if you have the time. Some of you I know may have full-time jobs. You may not have the time. On when you're going to set up programs or teach in the public school systems to generate leads and to bring people in. Next, special events. So listen to me carefully. This is a good nugget for you guys. Okay. Most of you in the martial arts industry, you market martial arts, right? But if I lined up 1,000 parents and I asked them, what is something you really want to see your child do? How many of them would say martial arts? A very small percentage of them, right? All right. So you got to cater to the child as well as the parent. Now, if I asked 1,000 parents, hey, if you knew your child was having fun in a safe environment and you're able to go out with your significant other for a nice dinner alone and have a date night, would you want that? Yes or no? The vast majority of parents would say yes, right? So a little difference in marketing when you're working with public schools, for example. Some of you have public schools that will put out some flyers for you or whatever. But market a parents' night out to non-students, a parents' night out. We are hosting a parents' night out as a partner in education to give you an opportunity, parents, to go have a nice night knowing your child is in a safe, fun, fit environment, and we're going to have food for them as well while you enjoy a night out. Only 40 spots available. Free. It can be free. Why free? Because this talk is about how do I get more students to get enrolled? Well, the best way to get students enrolled is first, get people in your building. Once you get them in your building, then sell them on the values and benefits of martial arts, something they never were thinking about before. But now that they had a great time and now the parents are coming back and picking them up, you should be saying, hey, by the way, your son Johnny had a great time tonight. You know, we did some martial arts lessons. I'm sure he'll show you some of the things he learned. By the way, if you're interested, we can set an appointment. We're running a special, and this is what we're doing for students who participated in our event tonight. We're going to give even more, a call to action, whatever that is, right? So this, again, would be for non-students to market differently to get leads in your school. Next, we do something called Instructor for a Day, where we ask our students, how many of you would like to be a martial arts instructor for one day, earn your teaching certificate, your honorary teaching certificate, and promote a friend or a family member to their first martial arts belt after you teach them some moves? Raise your hand. They raise their hand. Well, I can only take, depending on the size of your school, I can only take 20 people. The first 20 to sign up. It's a free event. It's free, but you have to have 1, 2, or 3 students so you can teach them. So you have to have at least one friend that you're bringing so you can teach them, but you can bring up to 3. And it's Saturday at 10 a.m. or noon or whenever you want to do it. Well, again, it's a way for me to get leads in. These things are things that don't cost money. Next, are there any fairs, festivals, things in my town, in my community where I can set up a booth? Now, most of you set up booths and you collect leads. We don't like collecting leads. We like setting appointments. So when we set up a booth, we're handing out a special, for example, 4 weeks for $49, you know, martial arts special, 4 weeks for $49, 4 weeks. But we got to attract people to the booth. If you come to the booth, we say, look, have you ever thought about martial arts? Well, if you want an opportunity to really see the values and benefits, anyone that sets an appointment with us now, we're taking 50% off the special. So it's not 4 weeks for $49, it's 4 weeks for $25. And we're going to include one of these uniforms, an official martial arts uniforms valued at $49.95. You don't have to pay anything now. Just set an appointment, come in, try your free trial class. And then you, if you decide you want to try the 4 weeks, you're going to get the uniform and 4 weeks for only $25. Did you want to set an appointment now to come in? It's all about presentation. My point in doing this Metzger Tassoul show is what, Perry?
I'm sorry. No, it's Metzger Tassoul show.
Metzger Perry show today. I'm sorry, Perry. It's okay. Is just to give you ideas on how to present and think differently and do whatever you've been doing a little differently if it's not working as well for you right now. That's it. Perry, go ahead. Give them some
Yeah,
stuff.
no, you mentioned Instructor for a Day, and I know I saw Somebody posted recently that they did their instructor for a day, posted it online. That's something for those of you guys that have access to the MAIA Edge website, elite members, MAIA Edge members. That's on there, I think, for the month of March or February. So you got access to that, the how-to and all of the marketing materials. But easy ways to as a side bonus, yes, we're trying to recruit new members, but it's a great retention tool and potentially turn it into revenue with an upgrade and such. But yeah, Mr. Convento, 2 festivals in February, several military housing events in March. You got to stay active, guys. It's not about one idea to get you 20 new members. It's 20 ideas to get you 1 member each. It reminds me of when you challenged me that one time. We couldn't get double digits at my school at one point. Maybe
for 9 months, I think.
Yeah, it was for sure the whole year. And then Mr. Silverman and Mr. Metzger challenged me and said, "Hey, we need to get more students." We had like 5, 6, 4, maybe we got 8 or 9 one month, and that was good for us. And then they said they wanted us to do 31 students in 31 days in the month of October. And Metzger said, "What'd you tell me?"
I don't think you can do it.
He basically said, if you could do it, you would have done it by now. And so,
by the way, that was psychology.
It was psychology.
I did know they could do it, but we played a good cop, bad cop, knowing how he works, right? And the point is here we are. Now this should be inspirational for everybody. They were signing up 6, 4, 8, 5. By the time October came around, we needed some enrollment. So can you get 31 students in 31 days? And how many students did you get in October?
We ended up at 37. And again, it was that idea. One, we needed buy-in from the team, because there was definitely from one of my team members in particular, he says, "Man, I don't think we can do it." We're kind of in the same ilk of, we haven't done it yet. I don't know if it's possible. So we got buy-in from the team, and we really leveraged everything. It was a lot of referrals. It was a lot of getting the whole school involved. Yeah, good cop, bad cop. Perry is definitely the good cop. Oh yeah, Silverman was the good cop in that instance.
I'm always the bad cop, I think, is the point.
Gotcha. But yeah, parents, siblings, friends, and communities. We had a contest, referral awards contest, and finish it off with an open house at the school where we crossed that threshold of getting 37 members on a 12-month program. So they actually enrolled on a program. It wasn't just a referral, a trial. So yeah, and it made us believe that, all right, we know it's possible. It takes focus. It takes that little bit of effort and understanding that it's not going to be easy necessarily, and we got to do what it takes. You say it all the time. Don't be afraid of that hard work. So,
I mean, listen, yeah, I told the whole team, there's a time where we really got to grind. I mean, we all want work-life balance and we all want to grow, but there's times where you can't coast anymore, or whatever you did to get you where you are today is not going to get you to where you want to be tomorrow. And sometimes you got to get out of the comfort zone and start grinding again and learn new habits to get you to the next level. And again, it seems like nationwide in the United States, because I know there may be people here from all over, but it seems like it's a little harder today to get enrollments. And so we got to do things a little different. Another thing we're doing, and he said it, a referral. First of all, you should have a referral reward program, period, consistently. And I know a lot of people here say referrals don't work for me, but just be smart enough to know you can't say that when there's hundreds of schools that say the number one source of our new students is referrals. Well, why if they don't work, right? Again, it's presentation. But there's a referral system, and then there's a referral contest. And there's different ways you can do referral contests. But my point is, what he said when they got 37, right? 37 new students. He got all the students behind him. So you got to be open and honest with your own students. Say, look, guys, we want to be honest with you. It's been harder to get some new students involved in the martial arts. And we are here because we believe in martial arts, and we have a passion for impacting our community and changing lives with martial arts. But right now we need your help, and I want to know if you guys can help us. And so between now and April 1st or May 1st or whenever, we're doing a referral contest as a way of saying thank you for the help. But anyone you know that can value or benefit from martial arts, anyone that you refer that enrolls, we're going to give this away. It's not a chance to win. It's you're getting this. If you get 3 people, you're getting this. And if you get 5, you're getting this. Could be private lessons, could be weapons, could be drones, could be cash, could be gift cards, right? But I will say that if you're going to give cash or do anything for rewards, IRS states if you give anything over $600 in gift cards or cash, you got to legally 1099 these people. So you don't want to get into that stuff. Don't want to do that. So other prizes and this, that, and the other. At the end of the day, be honest and open with your customers and just say, look, we really need your help for us to hit our goal. And if you can help us, we'd really appreciate it. And anyone that refers any student that enrolls, we're also doing a big free pizza party, in May, whatever, right? I mean, whatever you got to do right now, we got to do whatever we are not doing. That's the key, right? If it's not working, you got to do something else. If whatever you're doing is working, continue to do that and try to be better at it. The other biggest thing when you're looking at enrollments, because there's some people that live in areas, you're just not going to be consistently getting 15 new enrollments every month. I mean, you may be in a rural area. It's a little harder. The economy may be hit harder in some smaller towns, but it's not the end of the world. So now you got to focus on retaining those students and understanding how to generate revenue with those students by creating value for them. And that's most important. But most of us don't do that. Most of us charge a fee, teach martial arts, go home, right? What can you do to add value to where a customer would say, you know what, I'd love to pay an extra $25 a month for that. And again, it's just business. It doesn't matter what industry it is, but these are things that some of you may have to do because unfortunately, we know how many schools, right, that are either with certain CRMs that go out of business because they're gone, or clients of Century Martial Arts that they just stop. They're no more. They're gone. They're not buying anything anymore. And we will have martial art business fatalities this year, like we do every year. And there's a lot of them. And with MAIA, and what we try to do is not have that happen because we believe in the martial arts. So I think there was a lot of different good ideas here that you guys can take one of them. You can take all of them. But at the end of the day, there's internal marketing, sweat, just internal, no money. There's external marketing with sweat equity, where you're running booths, you're teaching at schools, after school programs, you're going out and VIPing. I mean, whatever you got to do, right? That's the key, whatever you got to do. And then there's paid marketing. The key is you got to be doing all three. And some of you can't afford the paid marketing. So you really got to be pushing on all two, but you can't be reactive. You got to be proactive.
Yeah. No, there's a question here from Mr. Curry. I do have something I want to go back to on the getting your families and students involved. But when purchasing a school, an existing school, how do you reduce the risk of losing students?
Well, Mr. Curry, there is a way to minimize the chances of losing students. But anytime you're going to purchase a school, first of all, listen, depending on what you're purchasing a school for, you have to ask yourself, well, if I just go open a school across the street or wherever, if I just go open my own school, what is that going to cost me? So I'm making this up. Let's say you want to buy a school for $150,000. I'm making it up. Could be more, could be less. Well, I know that if I negotiate the right terms with a landlord, I can open a school, get mirrors, paint, especially if I do the work myself, for less than $50,000, I can be open, right? And for some of you, it might be 25 grand, whatever. But let's say it's 50,000. Now imagine if you took another $50,000 for marketing over 6 months, not over a year, 50,000 over 6 months. Well, how many students would you get that would be yours as opposed to spending and by the way, I'm saving $50,000 if I did that, if I was going to buy a school for $150. But now I don't got to worry about a culture change. You're not the same. So you got to think about that. Number two, if I am buying a school, I negotiate with the person I'm buying the school with that I need them to stay on for 90 days and teach alongside whatever instructor I'm going to put there. So we could slowly change culture without like ripping a Band-Aid off where my instructor's gone. Now there's this new team in place. It's different. It's whatever. Third, if you work at that school, if you're the instructor and you're going to buy the school, then it's worth it. If you've been the one running the school and the parents and the students and the culture is not changing at all, then it's worth obviously more money to purchase a school. So I could go on an hour here with different scenarios, but we're doing it right now. You were just on the phone for an hour with somebody that's literally that they did purchase it. It's already done, right? They took it over, right?
They took over the school.
They took over the school. And there's just systems in place that you got to do to try to minimize the risks of losing students. The other false security is people would say, well, they're on contracts, and it means nothing. Because what are you going to do? Start going after everybody in court if they leave because their instructor left and sold you the school? No, we're not going to do any of that stuff. So that doesn't mean anything. So you got to have certain things in place to minimize that risk.
And this kind of ties into what I was going to say earlier, that with developing an amazing rapport with your students and their families, if you're trying to get them to refer people, going back a little bit, you've got to develop that rapport. And here, you've got to figure out a quick way to start developing rapport with people, learn everybody's names, make sure we understand everybody's goals. Especially if you're coming in as a new instructor into that school, or you have somebody going in, know what everybody's why is. And it's Mr. Peterman says this all the time. Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And then from there, you reduce the risk of losing students, but also now when it comes time to do something like that referral program or the new student drive, when you ask for that referral, people are going to be more apt to doing it and helping you out. So try to develop that rapport as quickly as possible with people there at those schools.
Listen, at the end of the day, you got to have your why, right? Like, why are you doing this? Why are you in the martial arts? Is it to make a great living and impact people through your passion of martial arts that's changed your life? Whatever it is, all of you should want to impact more people, right? So whether it's financially driven or just changing life driven, we want more students, right? But at the end of the day, it is a capitalistic society. You got to pay your bills. You got to pay your rent. So you got to make sure you're taking care of your revenue first and foremost. So we need more students. That's the fuel. That's the lifeline of any martial arts school. And it's hard in the sense that you got to do things that normally you don't want to do. I mean, it's just like training. You got to do those things. You got to push. What's the question?
El Paso Karate, what's the best way to hook kids on a school talk so that the parents want to bring their kiddo? I think your system of magic ticket, I think, is one of the best ways.
Well, and by the way, that's not my system. That was a system that we've heard, that we've adopted and made it a system. But it's anchoring. When you're in a school, you got to remember, if you go into a school in a classroom and it's 8 o'clock in the morning and you're talking to a third grader, I'm making this up. What are you going to do to make sure that third grader does not forget by the end of the day to tell their parents that they got a call? And I'm not lying when I say that's an hour seminar.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an hour seminar, but it's about anchoring. What do? You anchor the kids. You get them raising their hand, on wanting and the why they would want to come to your school. And then there's a call to action. So, for example, I'll just give you this little nugget. But look, what we'll say at the end is, look, here's the deal, guys. As you can see, all of you have raised your hand and said you'd love to come to the school this Saturday at 11 a.m. for an event. But if you want a magic ticket, which is just a pass with the information about the event, the first 10 people to have their mom or dad call, I will write your name on an official martial arts uniform, just like the one I'm wearing here, and we will have it ready for you Saturday. But you got to be one of the first 10 to call, because I can't give uniforms to everybody. Well, that's a call to action. That's an example of what you can do to make sure those kids are amped and excited to say, mom, you got to call, that kind of thing. But it's an hour deal on that. But that should give you a little bit to get started there.
Yeah. And if you're, again, I'm referring to the MAIA Edge website. If you're on there, there's the whole 18-minute talk where you go through it all. You could watch that. And
if you're not on MAIA Edge, sign up for MAIA Edge. Because it's your whole resource. Yes, there's a video of how to anchor the kids to come, how to do an opening once they do come, and how to do a close before they leave to get enrollments.
Yeah, about 30 to 40 minutes of video there that you're going over step by step how to implement all of it.
Not to mention all the passes, the information, the themes for the events, everything is on. And that's just one thing. But if you want to know how to do a phone call, that's on there too. If you want to have a plan for the next 3 months, that's on there too. Everything is on Edge.
Yeah.
And it's constantly being updated.
And that's it. It's creating that anchor for those students and getting them. The title of it is How to Get Students Begging to Come to Your School. That's the name of your video. And that's it. You hide stuff in a backpack, and I'm not going to get into that because, like you said, it's 20, 30 minutes of just explaining that. But
here's what I would challenge everybody. Write 3 things down that you're going to do today and tomorrow. 3 proactive things that you're going to do to recruit new students in your school. It might be picking up the phone and setting up a booth for Saturday. That's proactive. That's one. It may be, I'm going to talk to 5 parents tonight and give them a special for our adult class to try out class. I'm going to talk to 5 parents. That's something. It could be like, I'm going to plan a buddy day and start making the announcements for students to bring a buddy next week and why they should bring them. Whatever it is, 3 things that you are proactively going to do that's going to yield new students.
I would say write it down on paper, but also put it in the chat box right now and have other people hold you accountable. We got everybody in this group that's watching, the 35 or so people that are watching. Write it down and then put it in the chat box. So I want to see what you guys are going to do.
And tomorrow, you can do it again. And then Monday, you're going to do it again, right? And by the way, you could repeat, because I said earlier, if you're doing something that works, keep doing it and doing more of it, okay? What is this? Just handed out 760 coloring sheets to 3 schools. Yes, that counts. Awesome job, sir. Yep. So, look, at the end of the day, if you need more students, what are you going to do about it? Right? That's the question. If you need more students, what are you going to do about it? What you're not going to do, what doesn't work, is just hope and pray your phone rings and people just start walking in again. That's like a lucky thing. You got to be proactive, okay? Next week, I have a middle school gym class, but not an after-school program. Awesome, Mr. Costin. You know what to do. Anchor them. Try to get them excited to come to a themed seminar at your school or class or event or mass intro, whatever you want to call it, right? So be proactive, and we have school talk scheduled, buddy classes, and parents' night out. Perfect. That's a lot, right? But what else can we do? What else can we do? What are we doing internally? Buddy classes, parents' night out is internal or is it external? Are you marketing outside to non-students as well? If they fill up with buddies, listen, if you're doing a parents' night out and it's all your students and you normally fill it up, then the very next weekend, do one for non-students. Start marketing that, right? But what does that mean? It means we got to work late 2 Fridays in a row or Saturdays or whenever you do parents' night out. But that's the point, right? Schedule a parents' night out, buddy night for March, free when you bring at least 1 buddy. Like that idea. Here's the deal with that, though, Mr. Alvarez. You got to be crystal clear with your people that you get to come free if you bring a buddy that is a non-student that's paying, unless you want to let them both come free. If you bring a buddy, you're both free. But it has to be a non-student, because they'll bring their friend that's in their martial arts class, and that's not fair to you. That's not the point. That's why I say always be open and transparent with your customers. Let them know. We're trying to get new students, guys. We're trying to get more people in our program to impact the community, because that is ultimately why we started a martial arts school. Be honest with them. I need help. We need more students, right? All right. Well, Perry, thanks for filling in for Tassoul.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Thank you all for chiming in and giving some input. First-time visitors only. Yes, Mr. Alvarez.
There it is. Very good. So yes, no, we appreciate you guys very much. And listen, I guess it's a little tougher out there for most right now. So it's okay. We don't want to panic, but there are things and there are tools out there to help you even have record months, right? We just got to work a little bit harder and smarter. Got to do both. A lot of times we like to say work smarter, not harder. Sometimes you got to do both. This is one of those times. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see everybody soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Launch a 30-minute once-a-week class. Awesome. Let's do it.